EVs are a nightmare for the U.S. car industry. The rapid shift towards electric vehicles, EVs, is proving to be a significant challenge for the U.S. car industry, creating a perfect storm of financial strain, technological hurdles, and intense competition. Traditional automakers, long accustomed to producing internal combustion engine vehicles, are now grappling with the enormous costs of retooling factories, developing new technologies, and retraining their workforce. Simultaneously, they'd face pressure from innovative EV manufacturers like Tesla, Rivian, and Lucid Motors, who have quickly gained technological advantages and consumer loyalty. Compounding these challenges are supply chain disruptions and stringent government regulations aimed at accelerating the transition to electric mobility. As a result, the U.S. car industry finds itself in a race against time to adapt or risk being left behind in an increasingly electrified market. Number 5. Transition costs. Traditional automobile manufacturers are experiencing significant financial burdens as they transition to the production of electric vehicles, EVs. This is because they are required to retool their factories, create new technologies, and train their employees. During the retooling process, current manufacturing equipment that was built for internal combustion engines is modified or replaced with new technology that is designed for assembly electric vehicle components, like electric drivetrains and batteries. This process requires a significant financial investment or expenditure. In addition, a significant amount of money needs to be invested in research and development in order to develop cutting-edge technology for electric vehicles, such as electric motors, battery efficiency, and software systems that are specific to electric vehicles. This change also necessitates considerable worker retraining in order to provide the existing staff with the knowledge and abilities required for the new manufacturing processes and safety regulations associated with high-voltage systems. In the process of adapting their operations and workforce to meet the ever-changing demands of the electric vehicle industry, automakers are facing a huge financial burden as a result of the combined effects of these issues. Number 4. Supply chain issues. The supply chain for electric vehicle, EV components, which includes batteries and rare earth minerals, is complex and mostly controlled by a small number of key suppliers. This can result in substantial issues for the industry as a whole. Battery technology is an essential component of electric vehicles, EVs, and it relies on elements such as lithium, cobalt, and nickel. These materials are typically obtained from a small number of mines and processing facilities located all over the world. Because of the high concentration of supply sources, the supply chain is susceptible to disruptions brought on by geopolitical conflicts, trade restrictions, or natural disasters. Additionally, rare earth minerals, which are needed for electric motors and other modern technologies, are similarly concentrated in particular places and controlled by a few global suppliers. This is the case for both countries and regions. The pressure that is being placed on these supply chains is growing as the demand for electric vehicles, EVs, continues to rise, which may result in bottlenecks and changes in the availability of components. This can lead to price volatility, which is when the cost of raw materials and components unexpectedly increases. This has the potential to have an effect on the entire cost of producing electric vehicles, and may also have an effect on the pricing of electric vehicles on the market. Because of the complexity and concentration of the supply chain, it is difficult for automobile manufacturers to obtain reliable and cost-effective supplies of essential components. This further complicates the transition to electric mobility for these manufacturers, adding an additional layer of risk. Number 3. Market competition. By capitalizing on their early adoption of electric vehicle, EV technology, and establishing strong consumer loyalty, new electric vehicle, EV, manufacturers like Tesla, Rivian, and Lucid Motors have increased the level of competition in the automobile market. When it comes to electric vehicle technology, Tesla, for instance, has established itself as a pioneer because to its cutting-edge battery systems, remarkable range, and unique features such as over-the-air upgrades and autopilot capabilities. These features have resulted in the company gaining a loyal customer base. Rivian, with its tough off-road vehicles, and Lucid Motors, with its luxury electric vehicles boasting great performance and extended range, have both entered the market with distinctive products. Rivian brought the first product to the market, while Lucid Motors brought the second. These businesses have benefited from their capacity to innovate swiftly and concentrate solely on electric mobility, in contrast to traditional automobile manufacturers that are migrating away from internal combustion engines. The fact that they entered the market early and made technological improvements has enabled them to gain a competitive advantage and cultivate strong brand loyalty. As a result, established automobile manufacturers have been forced to speed up their own electric vehicle strategy and make significant investments in new technologies in order to keep up with the rapidly changing industry. Number 2. Regulatory pressures. Governments around the world are increasingly implementing stricter emissions regulations and offering incentives to promote electric vehicle (EV) adoption, which compels traditional car makers to hasten their transition to electric mobility. Emission regulations are becoming more rigorous as governments aim to reduce greenhouse gas emissions and combat climate change. These regulations often include limits on the amount of carbon dioxide, CO2, and other pollutants that vehicles can emit, pushing automakers to develop cleaner alternatives to internal combustion engines. To meet these standards, traditional manufacturers must invest in EV technology and redesign their vehicle lineups, often at significant cost. Simultaneously, many governments are providing incentives to encourage consumers to purchase EVs, such as tax credits, rebates, and subsidies, as well as investing in EV charging infrastructure. These incentives not only make EVs more attractive to buyers, but also create a more favorable market environment for electric vehicles. To remain competitive and comply with evolving regulations, traditional car makers are therefore accelerating their development of EV models, investing in new manufacturing processes, and adjusting their strategic plans to align with these government policies. The combined pressure of stringent regulations and attractive consumer incentives is driving a rapid shift in the automotive industry towards electric vehicles. Conclusion. In conclusion, the shift to electric vehicles, EVs, is presenting formidable challenges for the U.S. car industry, making it a veritable nightmare for traditional automakers. The need for massive financial investments in retooling, technology development, and workforce retraining, coupled with fierce competition from innovative EV manufacturers, has put immense pressure on the industry. Additionally, the complexities of securing supply chains for critical materials and complying with stringent government regulations further complicate the transition. While the future of the automotive industry is undeniably electric, the path forward is fraught with difficulties that U.S. car makers must navigate carefully to remain competitive in this rapidly evolving landscape. Thanks for watching. Subscribe the channel and hit the bell icon.